Hi everyone, my name is Jubeda, a second year historian going into my final year. As I spend this summer working on really important things like my dissertation, final papers, and just generally reflecting on the year ahead, I thought it'd be a perfect chance to discuss some really important things that a lot of students face at the University of Oxford. So join me in this sort of day in the life as I go through some tips and pieces of advice that I would give to prospective students when coming to the University of Oxford. Hope you enjoy. My first piece of advice is to find a routine that works for you. Something I really struggled with in my first and second year was just going into the library with no plan whatsoever and just spending a lot of time doing productive procrastination, going on Instagram. So here's me trying to go through my dissertation notes and flesh them out a little bit more. Earlier in the morning, I decided that I would work specifically on my dissertation, so that was the mindset for today. I then spent my lunch in second quad just enjoying the views and eating some takeout. Something I also do within my daily routine is spend some time in Jesus College's multi-faith prayer room. So this is a lovely space that we have that also includes an ablution facility. I then spent some time studying in the Cheng building. So this study facility is used by both graduates and undergraduates, and it was a really productive session. Something I found recording these tips and advices and this sort of day in a life is that when I was trying to be productive, trying out different study spaces and different study methods, so as you can see here, I'm annotating a source on the Russian Revolution, I found that I was really productive because I was engaging with the content, but I was also changing up my study environment, which is something I didn't do much in my first and second year. So one thing I'd recommend to prospective students and current students, please make use of all the facilities around you because Oxford has a ton of libraries. You have faculty libraries, college libraries, university-wide libraries, and it's the perfect chance to get involved and really make sure you're being productive. So while I might do this a bit too much, it's really important to take breaks. So starting off with The Good Doctor, I was just watching an episode while drinking a cup of tea. Then I headed down through Market Street into Christchurch Meadows. So as you can see, lovely greenery here, and one thing that's really nice about Oxford is that we do have a lot of green spaces. For example, the Botanical Gardens, or again Christchurch Meadows, which is where I'm currently walking down. Something that I notice a lot with my friends is that a lot of them don't take enough breaks, and that's never good for your mental or your physical health. It's always good to take a step back from all the studying of Oxford life and just taking in nature, getting your steps in, but also, just meditating, getting some reflection on how your day went. And that's something I found with this walk. It was really nice just walking alongside the River Thames. And then as I was walking back, I was really lucky to catch the sunset. So please do pace yourself and get some breaks whenever you need them. I then decided to get some dinner and head to the Chang Cafe, which is this lovely space here. It's currently very empty because we're on summer break, but I happen to be staying in Jesus College for a little bit, but it's a really nice space again to socialize when there is people about and just enjoy dinner, or again watch The Good Doctor like I was. So I've touched on this a little bit before, but I want to go in a bit more depth about trying out different study methods. So here's me trying to get a bit of a night session in before I head to bed, and again I was using the Chang study space. So something, again, in my first 2 years at Oxford, it was really hard because I was constantly using just Word to copy and paste notes from my reading. So again, here's me trying to annotate a source, just highlighting specific pieces of information and then putting in red different bits that I think might be important. So please do, whether you're a STEM or a humanities student, try out different study methods, because in Oxford we always say we want out of the box thinking and we want to cultivate that learning and that intellectual development, and that's not going to happen if you're using very monotonous study methods. So try out dynamic things, have discussions with your friends, or just annotate sources like I was, because it means that you're engaging with the content a bit more practically, and it just means you're being a bit more productive and having that out of the box thinking. To myself, but it's just to be kind to yourself. So this is the next day, and the night before I really had a rough night. I couldn't sleep much, so I just decided to spend the morning taking some books out. A little bit of productive procrastination here. But a book on empires, which is a paper I did last term that I'm revising for, and then a book on Russia, which is hopefully going to be what my dissertation's about. I then took the books out by scanning my library card and placing the books on the LED lights, as you guys can kind of see on the screen here right now. So as this morning was kind of a slow one, I decided to spend the morning in the Robert Hooks building, also known as the Muslim prayer room. So this space is really nice to just get some time away again from like the hustle and bustle of Oxford. But for someone like me during this day, I was just not having the best day, so I just wanted a quiet space away from everything. So I decided to come here just to give a little tour of the small prayer room we have at Oxford. We have a women's section and a men's section, and it's just a nice quiet space where we have our 5 daily prayers, but we also have different events here. Or if you're like me and you kind of are just having a rough day, you want to get some reading in, that's what I was doing here, which is quite nice. If I'm being completely honest, I didn't take in a lot of this reading, and I think that is fine. I did try, I got some pieces of information in, but not everything went through my head because I didn't sleep much. I wasn't having a productive day, and that is fine. It's okay. It's just really important to touch down with yourself. And again, that reminder of being kind to yourself. You're not going to be productive all the time, and that's completely fine. You have to pace yourself and find the times that work best for you. Slightly as a side point, please do join a society when you join the University of Oxford or any university you go to. Something I found during my first year is that I struggled with imposter syndrome quite a lot, and just being in a community that was like my own back home and just being with like-minded individuals really helped me fit in to Oxford. So for me, the Islamic Society was great with different spiritual, academic and social events. So this is often an underrated piece of advice, but it's to really reconnect with your interests. So I love studying history and I love my degree, but sometimes I do feel stressed out with deadlines to me and just feeling overwhelmed with my workload. So I decided to spend some time in the Ashmolean Museum looking at different artifacts and historical pieces related to papers that I'm studying and also completely unrelated. So here's me looking at some Chinese art which relates to a paper that I'm currently taking. And then here's me looking at mummies, which is something that I don't study at all, but I'm completely obsessed with. So I really like looking at mummies and just extrapolating different pieces of evidence from it, and just generally the mummification process is so cool. So it really goes to show that you do have interest in the subject that you want to study. It's just about reconnecting with it. So my last piece of advice is to rejuvenate yourself. So here's me grabbing some lunch and heading over to our junior common room. And I spent a lot of this day just taking things very slowly, went to the museum, went to the prayer room, and then I decided to just go home. So here's me taking a train journey back home, and I spent some time journaling and just planning out the week ahead. For me, going back home is really important just so I can spend time with my family, whether that's eating out or going to a really cool aquarium with my best friend. It's always important to touch down with yourself and just to socialise with the people that matter the most. Of course, you will always have a chance to socialise in Oxford, although you might not be able to see a really cool shark like I did in London. But you will always find the people that are best for you in Oxford, whether that's through society events or through your JCR. But please do always touch down with the people that matter the most to you. So of course for me, that's my best friends and my family back home in London. And of course I love my friends in Oxford too. But it's always important to reconnect with yourself. And again, be kind to yourself, find a routine that works for you. So I hope this little day in the life with a few tips and pieces of advice were helpful for you. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and please do subscribe to Jesus College's YouTube channel. Bye!